you are in court because your attorney is late.
Okay, so we only take a record in this court when the judge tells you to? Is this a tactic on the court's part to attempt to wear out the defendant so they can't access their right to trial?
Oh. Stop interrupting me.
Well, we're not on the record.
Stop interrupting me.
Right? I mean, we're not in
Stop
court.
interrupting me.
I mean, that's the reason I don't come to your court at 9, because I know in another court,
Sir, here's your
Today, we've got a rather unusual case. Normally, it's the defendant who finds themselves being dismantled in the courtroom. This time, however, it's the attorney who simply refuses to stay quiet. Judge Boyd repeatedly calls him out for his conduct, and after watching what unfolds, it's difficult to disagree with her approach. Lawyers are expected to maintain professionalism, even when they disagree with the court's decisions. Instead of staying composed, this attorney repeatedly interrupts and challenges the judge, creating unnecessary tension throughout the hearing. What do you think about this case? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're watching, let's dive right in and see Judge Boyd firmly put this outspoken attorney in his place.
I have signed a few of them at this point.
All right, so has there been any new discovery?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, so you can make sure that the acknowledgement of discovery, the state actually has it and the court has it, because it's not in the court's file. And Odyssey is doing things on its own. So I'm gonna have y'all come back tomorrow. You're not number one on the docket.
Okay.
There are a couple of cases that are ahead of you, so those cases may end up going before yours. We'll just see where we are, okay?
That's correct.
Respectfully, Your Honor, Mr. Rios always appears, always waits all day. This is impacting his employment. We would ask that if we're not likely to be called tomorrow, that we be released. Additionally, I have experts for this trial that we have attempted to bring in, but we never know, and because the case is older now, when we should bring those experts in. So I'm going to have to approach the court and request additional funds for those experts if we're reset. So I would ask the court either to give us some preference tomorrow for trial, or if we can't do that, to release Mr. Rios so that he can go to work.
All right, be here exactly at 9:30, okay?
Okay, yes.
All right, I'm supposed to be here exactly at 9:30.
You understand? Now, Your Honor, respectfully, every time we come to court, we lose an entire day of work ourselves too. This is not typical of most of the courts in this county.
Oh, yeah, it is very typical.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
You can say that, Judge, but I practice in
And
the
say
courts.
that, and it very is typical, because every attorney that's here has a case that's set for jury trial. And this is what ends up happening. What ends up
Happening is I will allow people to go to civil cases to be out of county, and then their client is sitting here waiting for them. And for some reason, that's the court's fault. That's not the court's fault when attorneys are not showing up at 9 or whatever, and then they stroll in at 9:30 or 9:45. So what I'm telling you all, 9:30, see y'all at 9:30. Thank you. Coordinator will give you a reset form.
Understood. Your
All
Honor,
right,
I'm
thank
trying to make
you.
a record. I don't see the court reporter typing.
What?
Okay, so we only take a record in this court when the judge tells you to? The case was called.
No, the case wasn't called. When I call the case, I call it by the style of the case.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I'll see y'all at 9:30.
Judge, I have to ask you, is this a tactic on the court's part to attempt to wear out the defendant so they can't access?
What is this attorney even talking about right now? Seriously, he should just let it go. The judge literally told him she'd see him at 9:30 tomorrow, yet he immediately turns around and asks whether the court is deliberately trying to exhaust the defendant. At this point, the only person wearing the defendant down seems to be his own attorney. Instead of accepting the judge's straightforward instructions, he keeps arguing over issues that have already been addressed. He spends more time going in circles than moving the case forward, while his client is probably sitting there wondering why the hearing has become so unnecessarily complicated. Honestly, this attorney seems completely out of control for no clear reason. From where I'm standing, it almost feels like he's carrying some kind of personal grudge against Judge Boyd. What's strange is that Judge Boyd comes across as calm, respectful, and incredibly patient throughout the exchange. That patience, however, is clearly being tested. With every interruption and accusation, the judge gets closer to reaching her limit. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into the moment where Judge Boyd begins losing her patience with this attorney.
very inappropriate to say when there is no proof and people are just throwing things out. Now, what I can tell you, and I'm sure your client is aware, sometimes when we end up coming to court, we come to court because there are discovery issues. Sometimes when you're in court, you are in court because your attorney is late. And when I say late, I mean that when a case is scheduled in this court and it's scheduled for 9 a.m. and attorneys go to different courts because they want to go to different courts first, it is not the court's fault that you're sitting here for 12 o'clock or 1:30 or coming back over break. Number one, I have a lunch break. And there was a point in time where I would not take a lunch break. And the reason why I wouldn't take a lunch break is because I said, you know what? I've been a defense attorney. And when I was a defense attorney, what I would always do, I'm like, I have to be in like 5 courts. It would be nice if they could stagger their docket. And so sometimes I would be here, we wouldn't have a lunch break, and I would be here till 3 o'clock. And then you know what I discovered? When I would say that I want to be here till 3 o'clock, I'm working through lunch, other attorneys, you know what they would end up doing? Then they wouldn't show up in the morning. They would just show up at 1:30 or whatever, because they're like, oh, the judge is going to stay there. So I stopped doing that because I need a lunch break. And that's what happens.
So then my other question, I guess, is if you're not doing this to cause the hardship, it obviously causes on all the attorneys and the defendants. Are you doing this for the YouTube? Because we don't have a record, right? Except for the YouTube.
Yes, here's the thing. You're to be back tomorrow at 9:30. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. And once you sign the reset form, you'll be here tomorrow. If somebody goes before you, somebody goes before you. Your counsel is well aware, or should be well aware, if he's been practicing in Bear.
This attorney has reportedly been practicing in this county for nearly 20 years, which makes his behavior even more surprising. Instead of acting like a seasoned professional, he comes across as someone creating unnecessary conflict at every opportunity. At times, it almost feels like he's making the situation more complicated than it needs to be, leaving everyone else in the courtroom to deal with the consequences. What really stands out is his accusation that Judge Boyd is using her YouTube stream to make money. That's a bold claim to make without any evidence. From what it appears, the live stream exists for transparency, record-keeping, or public access to court proceedings, not as some form of entertainment or personal profit. Meanwhile, Judge Boyd is simply doing her job, managing a busy courtroom with dozens of cases on the docket. Yet the attorney speaks as if she's an online content creator chasing views and donations, which seems like a huge stretch. At this point, it feels like he's either deliberately trying to test the judge's patience or he's completely disconnected from the reality of what's happening in the courtroom. And as for the defendant, you can't help but wonder what must be going through his mind as this entire exchange unfolds.
Example, I had approximately 40 cases down for jury trial today. And what ends up happening, sometimes people who are in custody take precedent because their cases are older
I'm
than
asking
yours.
for a record, by the way.
You understand? Because they're older than yours. So that's what happens. So then what ends up
Hey, there
happening,
should be a record, right?
excuse me, stop interrupting me.
Well, we're not on the record,
Stop interrupting me.
right? I mean, we're not in
Stop
court. There's no record.
interrupting me.
Sir, here's your reset form at 9:30.
So what ends up happening, sir, is that people who are in custody, sometimes their cases take precedent. And the reason why it takes precedent is because their cases are older and because the jail is overcrowded. Now, as you may or may not be aware, I call the docket all the time at 9 a.m. And sometimes when I call the docket at 9 a.m., defense attorneys are not here. Your attorney knows when he has not been here at 9 a.m. And then you have to wait. And you
Judge,
need
you're
to
aware
be
that every
here.
court starts at 9.
And you need to
I
be
have other
here.
cases.
And you need to be here at 9. So when your attorney is somewhere at another court, you know what ends up happening? Your attorney has made the choice to have you sit here and go to another court before
Well,
coming
that's not
here.
exactly true,
You
because all of
understand?
those courts got
All right,
business
good luck to
conflict.
you.
All
Thank
of us
you.
got
Thank you,
recalled
sir.
today,
Thank you,
right,
sir.
Judge? So, I mean, what did we accomplish?
Have a nice
today?
afternoon, sir.
I mean, that's the reason I don't come to your court at 9, because I know in another court,
Sir,
something's
here's your
gonna actually occur.
Sir.
And they're courts of exactly the same
Sir.
jurisdiction.
Don't go anywhere just yet, guys, because this courtroom drama isn't over. Just when it seems like the hearing has finally come to an end, another surprising moment is about to unfold. Judge Boyd is ready to move on and call the next case, but before she can do that, there's one final interruption that keeps the tension alive. Let's jump right back into the courtroom and see what happens next.
All right, Mr. Guzman.
Yes.
All right, so before the interpreter came, and correct me if I'm wrong, your attorneys came forward to let me know that they just received a new indictment. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and so that indictment, excuse me. Step away.
I was doing what the court ordered me to do and checking on the discovery.
All right, so what ended up happening is your attorneys. All right. One things have really changed the way people treat people.
From everything we just watched, it's easy to see why many people would side with Judge Boyd in this situation. The attorney was expected to be in court at 9 a.m., but instead arrived late, then became frustrated when the judge wouldn't rearrange the schedule to accommodate him. Rather than accepting responsibility, he continued arguing even after the judge explained exactly why the delays had occurred. Courtrooms run on strict schedules for a reason. Judges are responsible for managing dozens of cases in a single day, and as Judge Boyd pointed out, she had around 40 jury trials on her docket. Attorneys are expected to arrive on time and conduct themselves professionally, just like anyone else working in the legal system. Expecting special treatment simply because you're running late isn't how the process works. Throughout the hearing, the attorney seemed to believe everything should revolve around his schedule. But the moment he was told no, his composure quickly disappeared. Instead of moving the case forward, he allowed his frustration to become the center of attention, which only made the situation more tense. To me, that comes across as highly unprofessional. Lawyers are entrusted with protecting their clients' rights, and that responsibility requires patience, self-control, and respect for the court. Losing your temper during a hearing rarely helps your client, and often makes matters worse. Now I'd like to hear your opinion. Whose side are you on in this case? Do you think Judge Boyd handled the situation appropriately, or do you believe the attorney had a valid point? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I always enjoy reading your perspective. If you enjoyed this courtroom breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more courtroom moments, legal drama, and shocking hearing highlights. I upload new videos every day, so stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and as always, let me know your thoughts on this case.